And Santeri Martikainen is about to find out if he's made the boldest call in history or whether he's got it very, very wrong indeed. We're going to find out. He starts 19th on the grid. As far as I'm aware, he's the only one on wet tyres. We'll double check as the race goes on. But Gus Lawrence leads them out. Clement Uttran in second. Then it is Sam Shaw and Eli Goldstein, Harry Platten and Jack Nettleship. From Paco Weisenberger and Diogo Castro, Sam Balota and Aaron Garcia. From Macaulay Bishop, Angelo Melli, Hamza Alfayez, Lewis Bird, Kevin Bejanin, Kevin Lantinga, Rafael Parad and David Gonçalves.
Then we have Santeri Martikainen and Luca Felix Rodriguez, followed on row 11 by Hugo Trichard and Enrique Oliveira, Mirko Wouters and Juan Aluja on row number 12, followed by Ricardo Girardi, Oran England, Clément Massot, Francisca Queiroz, Tristan Powell, Austin Gale, Luna Cleré, Lars Wennicke, as well as Afonso Pereira and Oscar Cura. The full grid is with us here for that 10-lap race, as always. Gus Lawrence and Clément Uttran with win for the VDK driver. 2 wins for Gus Lawrence, of course, the overall pole sitter. For the second time in the Annual Wheels final, the VDK driver set overall pole position. It was yesterday morning, and he was able to translate that on 2 occasions in winning results. Maybe a third one for Gus Lawrence. Conor Jupp adding his name to the circle of winners so far. This will be the last race for the senior class for those 2 groups, A versus D, and I've spoken too soon because the Group A has 1 more race actually at the very last that we're going to have today. So we'll have 2 more races, A versus J and F versus H. After that, a break for the Masters to come in for the free practice sessions, and then A versus C to run things up for today. So 2 more races for the Group A of the senior class. But this will be the last one of the day before tomorrow for the D group.
It looks like there's literally only one dry line to go through turn A, and that is if you hop over the curbs to get through. If you go any wider than that, then you're onto the wet patch, and it becomes an absolute nightmare to control the kart at speed. So this first lap could still catch out quite a few people. We'll need to be trained like cats on the 8th corner on this circuit, because that's where the big damp patch is. And on the first lap, you can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be at least 2 or 3 drivers running wide on that. That's where Eduardo Vila dropped it on the opening lap of the last one. And, well, there's a ribbon of water going all the way across the road on that part of the course, even though all but one of the drivers out there are now on slick tyres. If you are Santeri Martikainen, you are praying for that rain cloud overhead to break, because he's the only one that has decided to go onto wet tyres. We've seen it a few times in X30 where one driver goes rogue and it comes up absolutely perfect. We'll have to see if that happens again. Out of the final turn, Lawrence, Uttran, Shaw, Goldstein, Platten, Nettleship, Weisenberger, Castro. Let's go racing. Off we go to the first corner. Goldstein hanging in there behind Uttran as they go to the first corner. The inside line getting an absolute blinder. So no problem at all for Lawrence, Shaw and Platten to head the field. Here comes Shaw trying to break through, but up the inside, Platten's going to go rogue on him. Up to second position, they squeeze wide. There's not a lot of grip, and everybody's going to conflagrate around each other. There's not a lot of places to go. Several drivers getting contacted in. 5 of them involved in that one by the look of it. 2 or 3 of them involved. You've got 206 and 287 in that one. And we had Weisenberger and Balota getting, Castro and Garcia, I should say, getting caught in that one. Gonçalves, Frederic, Lars Wennicke and Oscar Cura also involved. And look at the damage to the 319. That's the barrel out there of Garcia, I think it is. No, it isn't Garcia, but there's certainly had already 1 retirement. That is Lars Wennicke and Oscar Cura that have not come around again, but the 319, that is Lucas Frederic for the MDC team. He's had big damage on the opening lap. Several drivers drifting off the road on the slick tyres and desperately trying to get back to the pits in the hope that they've still got a car salvageable for the rest of the meeting, never mind the rest of the race, as Lawrence leads Goldstein, then Platten, Weisenberger, Shaw, Nettleship, Uttran down to 7th, and Macaulay Bishop now with Balota. There's the move on the inside from one of the TB carts. That looks to me like the 310 that has come through there. That is Jack Nettleship, who of course is in the MDC squad with Birolart overalls, but he's on a TB car. Yeah, talk about confusing. Oh, he nearly catches out Weisenberger.
Yes, indeed. Came close to a contact as we have the retirement, unfortunately, of the 390 we mentioned earlier. This is Frederic from MDC Racing, who had big damage resulting of that contact on the opening lap. But Gus Lawrence, in the meantime, was able to extend his gap to 1.4 seconds on Eddie Goldstein, who's giving him a charge. Here's Goldstein on the inside, goes Paco Weisenberger on Harry Platten. Well done to the Frenchman. That was a textbook sort of move, as Platten is trying to protect himself from Nettleship just behind the British driver. Going a bit wider onto the curve in turn number 17. Unfortunately, Harry Platten might go the way actually of the driver behind, Sam Shaw as well. Nettleship in the meantime as well in the same group. 1.3 seconds. Caution trying to give a chase and going slightly faster than the leader. Gus Lawrence not having to take any risk. All he hopes for is to make it home in one piece. Right inside, there goes Nettleship on Harry Platten once again. They're battling along for P3 and allowing Paco Mosenberger to really pull away. And Sam Shaw with the premium karting, a blue livery, gets himself into the battle run inside. They go.
They drift wide. Nettleship's gone, and so too is Harry Platten. They managed to catch it back again, but they've lost at least 2 places each. I think in Platten's case, he's lost about 6, and that's what I've been telling everybody about turn 8. You catch that wet patch on the way through, you've got absolutely no chance of catching the car before you drift off the road.
Yeah, watch out where you put your tires, because especially in that part of the track, that could prove very, very dangerous indeed. As we're here with the 269 from Falcon, at least Sam Balota driving a Falcon machine with his private team. Watch out, let's see what he can do with Nettleship just in front of him, taking the slipstream at the end of that never-ending first sector, a long straight on the inside. Balota stays where he is, up in the P7 from Bishop and Alfayez, as well as Perra running up the top 10. Paco Mosenberger giving the chase as well is missing.
There were spots of rain on the camera lens. That's why it's becoming a bit tricky out there, because the rain has started at various points of the course. We can see a couple of drops of rain on the camera lens on the far side of the course. So it's starting to happen at various points. We don't know if it's everywhere, but it's certainly starting at the far side of the course. Now, that's going to cause problems for a couple of drivers out there, especially the ones who have got used to certain parts of the course on slick tyres. But we've now got drops of rain on the far side of the course. It's not happening on the main straight, but it's certainly happening on the far side.
You know, the only driver in that field who could have taken advantage of that position is no longer in the race,
correct,
unfortunately, as Martikainen from NGP had to retire not so long ago, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Martikainen's gamble, not able to sustain the race distance. That's the problem. Up the inside, that's Bishop getting a lovely run on Sam Balota. Meanwhile, that is a beautiful run from Outram, as he now gets his run on Sam Shaw to get into 4th position. So Clement Outram saving his bacon, getting himself back into the hunt. And a very nice battle, as we also have Weisenberger trying to take on Ellie Goldstein. Now, Goldstein has already had his elbows out several times over the course of this week, and he really doesn't want to be locked into a mortal battle with Paco Weisenberger up front. They've got to be careful as they drift through. Fortunately, Goldstein and Weisenberger are both up to the challenge. Nettleship runs wide again through turn 8, but doesn't lose the position this time. He manages to keep the Falcon of Sam Balota behind him for the time being. There's Weisenberger getting the move on Goldstein. That's for 2nd position, and that's not just any driver you've got past, Paco. You just got past the gold medalist last year at Paul Ricard.
Certainly Paco Mosenberger, who was not born yesterday. Oh, the 240 going through some mechanical trouble, but look at it, this is Rafael Perra, and that's quite unfortunate. He was driving in a strong P9 position, having climbed 8 places since the start of the race. And by the look of it, this is done and over for the T3M Sport driver, unfortunately, having to retire and joining a list that includes Aaron Garcia, Kieros Martikainen, and Fedrich, as well as Oscar Cura. So a couple of drivers that we've lost through the course of that race. Still going, unfortunately, but trying to get back to the Parc Fermé. And despair can be read through the helmet, of course, after what had been a strong recovery for Perra, unfortunately, coming to a premature end. In the meantime, we're back here with Paco Mosenberger.
Look again, you see the spots of rain are coming back.
Yes.
They're on that far side of the course.
In the meantime as well, sorry to cut you off, but 2 drivers in trouble in turn number 8 and 9. You don't get to see that just yet, but yellow flag in the middle of the pack. And that might have to do with the rain starting to follow or to drop slightly a bit stronger. Not quite sure yet on what part of the track precisely. It seems to be dry on our side, but not so much on the far side.
It was quite funny, because Martin Bean actually looked at me with shock and horror when I said that there was rain falling on the circuit. And I said, well, we can see it on the camera lens on the far side, even if it's not on this part, Martin. We know it's here. So very tricky situation at the moment for the drivers, as some of the circuit appears to be getting soaked and the rest of it is staying dry. So it looks like it's at that far side of the circuit where the rain is starting to congregate. And that's Lewis Bird coming into the pits to retire. So Lewis Bird now retires. Very unfortunate indeed for him. Meanwhile, Lawrence has only got a second on Weisenberger and Goldstein. And Weisenberger seems to have the confidence in the victory lane kart as Afonso Pereira has the mechanical flag waved to him. That means his race is pretty much over as well now. So he'll have to come into the pits to park the kart. But Weisenberger chipping away at Gus Lawrence's advantage. There's Bishop dueling away with Sam Shaw, and he's now got past him on the Dan Holland Racing Lando Norris car. They come off the turn, and again, look, a couple of spots of rain on the final corner camera now. So that would sense that the rain is starting to shift. It might cover the circuit by the next heat.
Yeah, you got to give it actually our race director Martin Bean a heart attack if we keep talking about the rain.
Hamza Al Fayez now picks up a warning flag. Not sure what that's for, but the Jordanian currently in P11, just in behind Kevin Lantinga. You can see the spots of rain on the lens for yourself now. It's a real tricky one, as Lawrence has only got 0.3 of a second on Bakken Weisenberger. Weisenberger closing up big time now on the PF International driver in the lead of the race. But Bakken Weisenberger is taking Ellie Goldstein along for the ride. Gus Lawrence trying to hold on to this, but the slipstream he's going to experience this time round with Weisenberger hunting him down is going to be very intense to deal with. And Bakken Weisenberger, the Frenchman, looking very strong indeed here on the victory lane red speed. They come up the turn. And the team boss and founder, Victor Martin, the Formula 2 driver, is actually here in the paddock this week to watch their boys in action. This is going to be a very tough run as here comes Weisenberger, and he's got the momentum. He's got straight line speed. He's got the slipstream. Here he goes, and look, well, Lawrence isn't even going to fight him by the look of it. Either that or he's gesturing, why don't you just sit behind me and we'll go for it together. I don't think Bakken Weisenberger was going to take the invitation there from Gus Lawrence. I think Lawrence wanted him to get through so that he could fight him on the penultimate lap. But Weisenberger has other plans. He's already got a tactic. He's already got a strategy, and he's not going to let Gus Lawrence know what it is.
Right, so it's an interesting trick, isn't it? And Bakken Weisenberger didn't fall for that. He was in the position of Gus Lawrence. Once you get yourself into the chaser, well, you can have a couple of occasions to switch position and to take the position back at the last moment when the other driver least expected. Let's Bakken goes for the inside and takes a position in the lead. And that could give us an opportunity as well for Ellie Goldstein to attack as well on Gus Lawrence. The door is shut on the way to the last two corners as we're about to get into the final lap of this race. How crazy that has been so far. One lap to go, 1.5 kilometers. Here we go again. Bakken is the leader. Gus Lawrence, Ellie Goldstein might want to take them two at once on the way to turn number 3. He stays where he is, the Belgian driver. First try. No one is daring to go for the move just yet. Gus Lawrence being taken in sandwich. That could actually go the way of Bakken Weisenberger because Goldstein goes for the move on the inside. Elder Belgian makes it through for P2.
That's the Ellie Goldstein we know. Second position now for the Belgian as he charges after the Frenchman, Bakken Weisenberger. Gus Lawrence sat in third position just waiting to see if fireworks kick off. But come on, this is Weisenberger and Goldstein. Goldstein in the equation, fireworks are never far away. Can he make the bid to go for the victory in the final couple of corners of this race? He's got a big chance. He's really got to try and rest on the laurels of the grip that might be affordable to him. I think he's just going to be a little bit too far back here, but you cannot discredit him for the effort. Weisenberger pushing all the way, and it's going to be a terrific victory for the Frenchman. Bakken Weisenberger gets the flag. Excellent work for him. That's the second time he has got a victory this week, and Bakken Weisenberger can be very happy indeed with that. Thumbs up from Ellie Goldstein in second place. Lawrence in third from Utran, Bishop, Shaw, Oliveira, Lantinga, Platten and Nettelschik. And what a stunning battle that was all the way through. I think we've actually had a problem between Angelo Meli and Hugo Trichard on the very last lap of the race. Yes, we have. There they are. So Trichard has had a coming together with Meli on the final corner.
And he lost, oh, look at the wheel, actually.
What on earth has happened to the left rear?
Yeah, I thought he had lost it for a moment, but this is actually a flat tire as a result of a contact with Angelo Meli by the look of it, and it just happened on the last turn.
That's not a flat tire, that's a shredded tire is what that is. I've never seen that much damage on the left rear of a tire before. Yeah. Coming off the final turn, you can see the damage that has been inflicted. Well. That's the side pod of Trichard's kart on the other side. Well, what on earth happened there?
Yeah, certainly something went terribly wrong, and they didn't understand each other. And look at the despair on his face.
You don't need to translate that, do you?
Absolutely. It might have been French. I could have actually lip read a little bit, but it was a bit too far.
Well, Bakken Weisenberger picks up the win then from Ellie Goldstein and Gus Lawrence. Clement Utran in front of Macaulay Bishop and Sam Shaw. And Enrique Oliveira and Kevin Lantinga from Harry Platten and Jack Nettelschik. Then Hamza Al Fayez ahead of Riccardo Cirelli, Clement Massot, Austin Gale and Juan Aluja. In front of Mirko Wouters and Tristan Powell, and Diogo Castro, Kevin Bejanin